All right, this is Gardener Israel, December 5th, 2022. We're looking at a camellia. This is a flowering shrub that flourishes around these parts. This thing here will be blooming around Christmas. They make very beautiful flowers. These are the flower pods right here. Got to watch out for your grandkids. They'll pick them off and throw them. We'll be showing you this when it begins to bloom. This is out here near my archery target. A good friend of ours gave us this. It's a rooted cutting that he works on at his place. Now I'm going to show you another indigenous tree around here. This right here is a southern magnolia. Now this tree here was not planted here. It came up on its own from, we've got a large magnolia tree over there in the front yard that we did plant, and this one here has come up from a seed. And I guess one day it will have beautiful flowers. It hasn't had any yet. Just to show you some of the stuff around here, the beauty. Southern magnolia. And now I'm going to try to blow the warning horn, the shofar. And I haven't practiced up with this much lately, and I got to get back into it because I think the time is getting short. And that's really what my channel is all about, is warning people that they need to wake up and pay attention to what's going on. This thing here is a kudu horn. I think kudu is over in Africa or maybe in the Middle East. I'm honestly not sure. But it's the horn sheath. The living part of the horn is in there. And then they pull this off once the animal dies. Possibly before he dies, I don't know. Let's see if I can blow it. This is the horn that the Israelites blew as a warning. And when they say in the Bible it says blow the trumpet, the word is shofar. I'll try. Alright, that was my best effort this morning, but I'm going to try to, I got in mind making this the lead thing in my videos. Just have this thing here blowing, or me blowing this, you know, for 5 or 6 seconds as the lead in. But I'm going to keep doing this until I get a good one. But the watchman is the one that used this. This is what they were doing at the Battle of Jericho. Marching around Jericho 7 times or whatever they did, 7 days in a row, 6 days, I forgot, blowing these things. And then the walls came tumbling down. This is the trumpet that will be blowing at the last trump. Isn't it interesting that Donald Trump has that name, Trump? You know, I don't know what's going to become of Donald Trump, but I'll tell you this. I've never seen anything like the phenomenon of him stepping in there and winning the presidency. And he still is not irrelevant. And I think that we may be seeing a lot more of him. I'm going to try to get that little stuttering part out in the days to come. Okay. Going to shoot olive oil now. Try to do this every day. This kind of thing right here, this kind of bow right here, you can't just let it You just can't let it lie around and not use it. You have to shoot this pretty much on a daily basis to build your strength up so that you can handle it. This is a Howard Hill Wesley Special. I'll tilt my hat up because my brim gets in the way. I've turned the deer around in the other direction. I've been shooting one side all this time. Show the thing. But I've turned it pointing that way to the right and try to, all right, you know my saying, the only shot that counts is the first shot. We'll see if I can make it count. I'd rather hit low than high, I can tell you that. I'm not sure if that's a kill or not, but I'm not too ashamed of that. That was a little higher. That's definitely a kill. And that's a kill right there. Go up there and pull those arrows out, and then we'll talk to you about something that I had on my mind this morning. This is my first shot. That'll kill a deer right there. That's in the heart. That was my second shot. And this is the third shot. Those are all good. I'm glad at that. All right, what I wanted to talk to you about, I have to have my notes here. What happens is that these thoughts come to me, and they come almost as a vapor to my mind. And I've learned that if I don't write them down, I have trouble recalling what the Spirit was saying to me. Okay, that's yesterday. Why do we hunt? That was yesterday. Alright, now I know what we're talking about. This is what Yeshua, Jesus, said about what our job was as believers. He said his disciples were arguing about who would be the greatest when Yeshua became the king. And he said, if you want to be the greatest, you will be the lowest. Let he that is the servant of all is really the greatest. So being a servant is what makes you great in the kingdom of heaven, and also as representative of the kingdom. And I got to thinking this, what is the biggest thing that we can give to others? And the answer came rather quickly. What is most precious to us? Well, when you get to be my age, the most precious thing is time. Because where I started out with a big pile of time when I was young, my pile of time is getting smaller and smaller. It's a little pile now. It's just like if it was money. If you had a great pile of money, and you gave some to somebody, it wouldn't be much. You wouldn't be giving much because it's a huge pile of money. You're not going to run out. But if you only had a little bit of money and you shared it with somebody, you would be giving a precious thing away. So, time is the most precious thing to us. And giving of that time, when we really might like to be doing something else, is what I mean, then that is more precious to us than when we were younger. Okay, and remember the story that Yeshua told about the widow's mite. The disciples were They were in the temple, and they noticed that this widow, which obviously was an old lady, went up to give her tithes, and she gave a penny. I don't remember that, but a small amount. And the rich people would go up and they would give a handful of money. But Jesus pointed out that she gave of all that she had. That's all she had, was that mite, that little penny. And that she actually gave more than the wealthier people. So what came to me this morning is time is the most precious thing as you get older. I've got another little note here. Preaching, or teaching as I call it, in a non-judgmental way. This is kind of not the same thing as I was talking about, but when we teach or preach in a non-judgmental way, I think we can reach people better. If I got up here and said, "Are you going to go to hell when you die?" Well, that's a judgmental way. That's a scary thing. But if I say, "I would like you to check out what Yeshua, Jesus, had to say in the Bible, I'd like you to re-examine that if you haven't thought about it in a long time, or if you rejected it in the past. I don't see the harm in you checking that out. Check it out and see. You may have changed your mind, especially as you get older, in a non-judgmental way. And how can I do that without judging and without fretting about it? Well, the fact is, Yeshua said, "I will not lose one of my sheep." Now, our job is to help him find the lost sheep. But we don't need to fret about that and worry about it, because he said he was going to get them. He's letting us help him get them. But our inefficiency and ineptness is not going to cause one person to lose their salvation. Now, I'll tell you one way that I look at this. I remember when I was a little kid, my dad was a kind of a handyman, that handy with a saw and a hammer and nails. And I remember building a bedroom in the basement of our house. Just a cement room. And we redesigned it and made it into a living quarters. And he would let me, my job was to hold his hammer for him while he would work. He'd say, "Hold my hammer," and I would hold his hammer. That was my job. Well, he didn't need me to hold that hammer. He could have set it down. So that's kind of how I look at Yeshua letting us help him when he obviously doesn't need our help. He can find his lost sheep. He can snap his fingers, he can say the word, and all of them will come running. So I look at it that he's allowing us to help him. And as I have fond memories of my dad allowing me to help him, and as time went by, I did more and more. I didn't just hold the hammer, he let me hit a nail every now and then. And I want to remind you of one thing. I had a dear brother that has passed away. And he was very talented at writing. And he wrote a book one time called "Time Is Not." And the book was really interesting book of essays. Time is not. And what does that mean to me? It means time as we know it, that passes by, is not real. And as one person said one time, the reason that we notice the passing of time is because we are mortal. Not immortal at this stage. We are mortal. And we notice the passing of time. But when we are in our immortality, the time, there won't be any time. Now that's the way I interpret time is not. Time probably doesn't really exist except to those that are in this fleshly form. But in the kingdom of heaven, it's a kind of time that we can't see now. Time is not. So that gives us something to look forward to. All right, thank you for letting me talk to you and give you my things that are coming into my head. And the greatest gift that we can give is our time. Because a lot of times we want to do something else. We don't want to spend our time helping some person that probably got himself into that pickle and doesn't deserve it. Well, that's not what it is. We're here to serve, not be served. All right, this is Gardener Israel, and I hope I get a chance to talk to you again.